Hi friends! So into today's video, I guess you'd say, we'll be doing a review on Brown Girl Dreaming. Now, I highly recommend this book because if you just want to learn some life lessons, or you like poetry, or you like, autobiographies, I think this is right up your alley. Now, this book teaches you a lot of life lessons and a lot of things you can learn and use in your life now. And I feel like this is why I really do appreciate this book, and that it was shown to me and I had the opportunity to read it. So let's get into it. So let's start off with some general information. Brown Girl Dreaming is an autobiography written as poetry, and the author is Jacqueline Woodson. The reading level is to 4th and 5th grade. I'm in 7th grade, but I do think that 4th and 5th graders or so on could read this book because it's not too hard to understand. It's not so simple either. It's not like such an easy book, but also it's not the hardest book. So I feel like it's right in the middle, and honestly, I really do think that this book can help 4th and 5th graders to understand the things that are going on through that time. But that's why I personally think 4th and 5th grade could read this book because it teaches you a lot of life lessons also, and it teaches you things that you can use in your day-to-day life. Because you never really think that, I'm reading a book and everything afterwards, I'm never going to use this again. But in this book, it's like the life lessons that she learned in this book, you can apply to yourself. You never really think about that when you read a book, but this book right here opened my eyes, and honestly, I see the world so much clearer now. The main characters, obviously, Jacqueline Woodson, her sister Odell, her brothers Hope and Rowan, and her mother. After her parents got divorced, she had to move with her grandparents in South Carolina. She went from harsh winters to blazing summers, and it was a big change. And I bet she felt a little sad leaving her dad and going to live in a place where her mother grew up her entire life, and she wasn't really, used to or connected to the way her mother is. So in chapter 2, I was really into it because I connected with it on a deeper level. You did. So a few chapters back, it talked about the changes in South Carolina and all that jazz. And a little forward, it talked about the march. And they said, if you believe in something so strongly, you'd fight for it. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is what I mean by life lessons, y'all. Chapter 2, the march, was an eye-opener. I was mind blown of how she wrote this and how I understood it so quickly and connected with it on a deeper level. And honestly, I've never connected with a book like that. Of course, I've read books online and, there's books in my room, but this book I've connected with personally, emotionally, and physically. And honestly, I get it. Because they're fighting for their rights. And you know what? Yeah, you have to fight for something you strongly believe in. And they fought for their rights, and they fought for what they believed in, which is Black people to have rights. And that is why I love this book, because it teaches you things like this. And that's why I keep saying it teaches you things that you don't really think a book's gonna teach you. Chapter 3 was a little sad for me personally because I understood how they felt. They had to move to New York City, and as you know, people move to New York City to follow their dreams of acting, modeling, whatever. And they moved for, a better opportunity. And also, it's a lot safer. It was safer up north. It was a lot safer for Black people at the time. And I connect with her on that too, because I felt it. She was very sad leaving her grandparents, and honestly leaving the place she's been with for a few months now. And it's sad being with someone for so long and leaving them. And of course you can always visit, but it's just not the same waking up and seeing them every single day. And that's why it hit me really hard. Chapter 4 was a little sad because I have siblings. Of course I don't relate to this personally, but I have siblings, and this did make me a little sad. Their brother came back from the hospital because he used to pick paint off the walls and eat them. And she was very confused on why every time we went to the hospital, he was always sleeping. They didn't understand why he looked like that with tubes coming out of his arms. They just didn't understand. And honestly, I didn't know what to say about it. And I didn't know what to say. When I read that, I was just frozen. I was like, oh my gosh, imagine being so young and seeing your little brother like have tubes in his arm in the hospital, and he's always sleeping and you don't know why. That is scary. And the way she wrote this really like showed how she was confused, she was scared, she didn't know what was going on, and she wrote it beautifully. Chapter 5 is one of the, by far, the saddest ones. It made me so sad to say it, think it. It was so sad. And it was where their grandfather had passed away from smoking. And honestly, if that's sad, that's really, really sad. And it hit her really hard. She gave a lot of details on how she was feeling and how emotional she was and about what happened. And that was her best friend. She stayed with him by his bedside while he was actually sick from smoking. And she stayed there, and loving someone that much and having to let them go is one of the hardest things like a young person will have to do, or ever have to do. Anybody will have to do, letting go of someone you're not ready to let go yet. And she really, like, it's like really deep. It's really deep, and I like it a lot. I keep using like a lot, but like I love this book. It's amazing. And honestly, back to what I was saying, she really did express on how she was feeling, what she was thinking, how in the moment, and honestly, it was wrote so beautifully, and it melts my heart every single time I read this book. Now, the theme of the book. Now, I think the theme of the book, personally, is fight for something you so strongly believe in. Now, that was in the March, and the reason, like I said, I connected with that so much, because I do believe if you believe in something so strong, you have to fight for it, to show that you want change, to show that you want it to happen. And look at time now. Black people have rights. Black people are free because we fought for what we most strongly believe in. That is an example of what I mean. And in this book, there is multiple examples for fight for what you believe in. And let's turn to a page where they do that, shall we? It says here, to walk and sit and dream wherever we want. That is what I mean. They fought for something they so strongly believed in because they wanted to sit at the same lunch counters as white people, to eat the same places white people eat, to be able to use the same bathrooms as white people. And they so strongly believed in it, they fought for it. And that is why I think the theme of this book is fight for something you so strongly believe in. My opinion on the book. Personally, like I said, this entire video, this book is an eye-opener. it teaches valuable life lessons. It helps you understand a deeper meaning to life, I feel like. And it opens your eyes. It really does. To the realities, to what some people have lived through, and to the struggles some people have lived through, and how they got through them. And honestly, I get it. I did get the book. And I'm glad I was able to connect with the book on a deeper level. And I've never really experienced it with any other book before, like I've said before. And I'm glad I got to experience it with this book right here. I'm so glad I could feel exactly what she was talking about. And it really did help my self-esteem, my confidence, how I look at myself. It helped that much. And honestly, I'd read this book again in a heartbeat. What do you think about the characters? Okay. I love Jacqueline Woodson. She really expresses how she grew up and what she dealt with. Love her. Her sister, I think her sister's very smart, very beautiful, and she's an overachiever. And we love overachievers because, you know, I am one. Her brothers, we didn't really see much of them, but, I feel like I don't really see much of them, but I think they are pretty cool, and it's always good to have older siblings to protect you. The mom, I feel like the mom was a little harsh on some points, and was a little mean on some points, but at the end of the day, you only get one mom, and you either love her, or, you know. But that is my thoughts about the characters. I would give this book a 4.75. The reason I say 4.7 is because there are some things in this book that I don't like, and when you read the book, hopefully, you will understand where I'm coming from. And honestly, some of these things I do not like what was said in the book and what was done in the book. But overall, this book was one of the best things that's ever happened to me. And, you know, can't get too close. Okay, come closer. Oh, not that close. You should buy the book. Yeah. Not sponsored. Buy the book. You'll get a cookie if you do. But anyways, our video's come to an end. Well, that's all the time I have today. Again, read this book. This book, if it is sitting on your shelf, if it is sitting in your drawers, read it. Trust me, it is going to be worth your while, and you will learn so many things, like I did. Now, I must go. Goodbye.